do it in the spirit of going against the grain of the negative media, giving inspiring information, and having people walk away from our show with something of value.
You're seeing a disruption in both the real estate and the mortgage space.
A lot of people are just not willing to put in the work.
What video does is that it demands an emotional response.
You know what I love about the show? It's totally unscripted.
So, Jerry, basically, we're completely unscripted here. Go ahead. Do your
Did
thing.
we
We're
take
good.
my mic off?
No, it's on. It's on. You got it on. So we're good. We're good. And
I thought I don't feel it anymore. Wait a minute. We're going to go through this. And say,
so it doesn't matter. We are completely, we're unscripted. And basically, we are going to just put this out as behind the scenes.
Yep.
So we were talking earlier, we didn't have enough time to put it on the program about the port wines. And so literally, I'd just like to know the difference really between a regular port and a tawny port, what the word tawny means. If you could just kind of explain that for us.
I'll be happy to. It's really kind of a cool concept. Let's start off with what is a port, and then that'll move us towards this thing. So I think it's a really neat story. Ports originated from fine wines in Portugal. Portugal was making these great wines, even perhaps before France. And as they were being exported to other parts of Europe, they would arrive and they would spoil because they didn't have all of these neat chemicals or whatever you might use as preservatives. So what they discovered is that by adding brandy to it, that would kill the little bacteria that would cause it to spoil. So then the ports coming from Portugal, then you add a little bit of alcohol to it, and it was kind of hot. So then being a good marketer, the Portuguese, the wine producers there at the time said, well, we'll soften that alcohol perhaps with a little sweetness. So that then became the sweet dessert, high alcohol wine from Portugal became known as port. Smell that. Now you see that still got that nice red ruby color.
Well, it smells good. And a question that you just kind of brought to light was as far as the alcohol content. What's the alcohol content this versus your regular wines?
So Louis Pasteur discovered when he would add brandy to it, there's a little microscope as they were beginning to move into this modern era, that experimenting with brandy, he found when it reached about 18%, it killed this little bacteria called acetobacter, which turned it into vinegar. So ports sit at about 18 to 20% alcohol. Now we kind of know things in proof, so that would be like 40 proof. So you've got this really nice dessert wine with this a little bit alcohol warmth to it. Mm-hmm. Now imagine we're on a ship or we're on a wagon, and we're traveling across Europe and our wagon breaks down. There's no AAA out there at the time.
Yeah.
So somebody's got to stay and guard the port, the wine. Somebody's got to go get the wheel fixed. So 3 months later when he gets back, the guy sitting out there feeling sorry for himself, he's popped the bung, he's let air into the barrel, it's been exposed to heat, he's been topping it off. They come back. By the time they repair the wheel, maybe a year has gone by. And the next thing you know is that same port has that little brown tone to it.
Amazing. What a color difference. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not.
So that's a natural oxidation. So I'm a good marketer, and they say, oh, I'm not sure about that. Look at that. Say, no, let me tell you, sir. This has been able to age even longer, and it's got this beautiful tawny color. Oh, that's kind of different. Let me try that.
So the tawny is the color.
The tawny is the color.
Okay.
Now smell that, and it's got this even softer, a little bit more oak
wonderful.
to it.
Boy, that's a wonderful smell.
So it just changes it.
And quite a difference.
Quite a difference, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So that's that natural oxidation. Now here, recognizing the value of that, we try to make extra barrels and try to put those up and forget about it. So this particular tawny that we have here, that's been in the barrel since 2009. So right now it's 10 years old. Now, unfortunately, I'm just about out of that. We're down to the last half barrel of that. As a young winemaker, my wife and I, we were former school teachers, meaning we didn't have deep pockets. This is all
I get it.
make wine, sell wine,
Yes.
make another wine.
Yeah.
And in 2010, I didn't have enough money to buy an extra barrel.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I couldn't even afford a barrel in 2010 at $600 each. So Unfortunately, we're coming up on a period where I don't have a 2010 barrel.
You're going to skip a year.
I'm going to skip a year. We'll still have 20 now. Don't get nervous, but it'll be 8 years old instead of 10 years old, and it's still an awesome 20. But we're excited, so we've made a commitment now to at least buy some extra barrels, knowing how neat this is and how the community has responded to loving this stuff.
So 2010, you should have taken out a loan.
Dad, yeah. Nobody was sure we were still going to make it in 2010, but we were having fun.
It turned out well.
Thank you, sir. Now then, we heard about a story called Madeira wines. And Madeira come from the island of Madeira. It's a hot environment. And there they have white grapes. And by taking white grapes and making them in the same style, but exposing it to heat, now you get a white type of port called Madeira.
Madeira.
So give that a sense, bring that to your nose and your palate.
Completely different smell.
Completely different. It's a white wine that's been exposed to heat. It's a white wine, same thing, where we shut down the fermentation to keep the sweetness, add brandy to it to preserve it. Then in the summertime, we roll some of these barrels out and actually let it bake in the summertime heat, bring it back in. So that's been in the barrel now for 4 years.
Wow. And so how long does this need to age before you put it out? Would 4 years be a minimum?
4 years is probably where it's really beginning to get that nice, beautiful softness. You can do it in about 3, but 4, then we just hope we have 2 more barrels of that. So
Boy, that's
depending
smooth.
upon the community. Don't everybody rush out here at one time.
No kidding. That
Isn't
is so
something?
smooth. No, because I'm going to go ahead and buy it out today. Amazing.
So that's the story. And again, we're just a very small boutique winery making this in very small batches, but it's something very special. All of these have won gold medals in various competitions. So
Okay. Well,
again,
hey,
to just say it's a world-class wine.
it absolutely tastes like a world-class wine. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to turn this camera off in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and polish off what you have left here. But anyway, thanks for all your time today.
Jamie, it's a pleasure.
And we'll go ahead and get back on with the American Dream and finish up our shoot today.
We'd love to be a part of it and a part of this neat community that you're creating.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.